Hubert. Thank you for the embarrassment. Hi guys. I thank you for the opportunity here. I'm really excited to be here. I mean, I've been here for a day, and I'm falling in love with the city already. Even the siren that coming from the ambulance was not intrusive compared to US. It's actually kind of like a music. And today there's a lot of content I prepared, and I'm going to talk about organizational design for growth. Today, in the Agile world, we are facing a very critical problem, which a lot of teams or transformation effort that's not being sustained. They run for 3 months, they run for 2 years, 3 years, and then they end. Nothing lasts longer. So there's some truth and there's some insight to this particular problems. And this is what this whole talk is trying to address. There's a couple keywords on this slide. This particular one, I'm going to spend a little more time. First is design. I specifically dressed like a designer today instead of my shirt and everything. I hope it looks great. And I like the colors. So design means to me a lot of things. Design means to me taking risks. Right? Design means to do things you're not supposed to do. I'm a risk taker. Once you go into an agile team or agile organization, you start to realize it. You have a lot of space to take risk, to try things, to learn things from your failure. I think Mike talked about failure, right? Celebrate your failure. It's not a shame. It's not about fail fast, but it's really about learn fast. How fast you can learn. I've been through a lot of organizations where have all sorts of different flavors, but there's a trend for organizations to experiment with things because they find out that's the best way they can adapt to changes. The same thing applies for engineers, right? The second thing I really want to talk about is growth. Everybody is talking about growth. This is not just for customer. Growth for engineering teams. I never really know what it means until I have my kids. And I have the joy to see my kids growing. From our management classes, we've been taught to keep things the way it is, right? Your value proposition as a manager is to make sure you don't change, right? But that concept is not true anymore. So there's a whole spectrum of things about growth that causing a lot of the changes from our mindset and from the way we operate a company. Management. How many people here are in a management position? If you can show up a hand. Manager? Okay. So this is for you guys. Okay. This whole session for you guys. For the rest of you folks, this is even more important because in a couple years you will become a manager. You will manage someone. Anyone who thinks they will never be in a management position? Anyone? Cool. You can go to your manager and tell them you are wrong. Do this, okay? And everything I'm going to talk about today, apply to your personal life. I have a coach friend who is applying this to marriage counseling. It works. So, no fluff, just stuff. I stole this from some conference. I'm a buffet kind of guy, right? This morning, Mike may give you a session. It's like a French gourmet meal. But I'm a buffet kind of guy. I want a lot of stuff. So today, later on, I will show you, it's packed full of things. What I'm going to present it to you. You're not going to be able to absorb it, right? I'm taking a risk that I'm breaking all the rules about Keynote, but I'm hoping you will benefit. So, by movement, not mandate. This is what I believe. One of the best experience that I have with teams as an agile coach or any process-related stuff, there's this one experience, it's incredible. I used to run trainings, right? I'll teach you exactly Scrum. Everyone familiar with Scrum? Scrum, what Scrum is, Kanban is, you should do this, shouldn't do that. That time I didn't do it. I draw a boundary. I said, within 2 weeks, you have a backlog. You need to deliver me something. Team, you guys figure it out. You design what's in it. And magically, what they come up with, after 2 hours, they came up with Scrum. And they came up with everything in between they should be focused on. But the true difference is, I didn't tell them. They own it. When they walk out of the room, they feel like that's my process. They buy into it, they do it. So this whole thing is, I believe in inside out. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this slide, but I think it's going to be worth it. So, continuous improvement, everyone heard of it, right? We need a leap. Continuous improvement is great. Small step is great. But we need a leap. We need a jump, right? We cannot just smaller steps. A candle doesn't come with continuous improvement. Like the light bulb, the design of a light bulb, it goes back to the foundation of what do we do, and then redesign everything. And this applies to the whole session. This whole session is about redesigning organization. If you're a manager, if you're not a manager, you should tell your manager, or in the future, this is how you should approach. What I'm telling you today is most of the company that I've been with, they're struggling. They didn't struggle with engineers. They didn't struggle with anything else. They struggle with the people. They hire the best people in the world. They didn't get a result because the way the organization is structured, the way the leader talks, it limits them. And that's the key problem we're trying to address. If we address that, I think that's the most difficult problem. There's no other problem. There's always problems. So, Jason, can you please? So this is the agenda today. So we're going to talk about what we get out of today, what today is not, what today is about, some of my professional experience. We're going to talk about urgency paradigm shift, what an adaptive lean company need the management to do. And then we slightly going to talk about design. Our organization is design. There's a sample design session. I've run this through. It's not about designing product, but it's about designing your organization. The key is here, my tagline is, the way we design product, like this one or this one, whatever you do, the way we design it, we can use the same practice to design our organization and make the organization as effective as possible. So when we do Agile or do Lean, it will actually flourish, right? Instead of, we need to try to convince management, we need to do that, we need to do that. Why do we have to do that, right? So let's get back here. I got some pictures yesterday. Let's have applause for all the organizers. I think they are doing a great job. If we can. So, thank you. They make everything happen here. So, I'm going to do something crazy. I like to break rules. I follow guidelines, but I like to break rules. One of the things I heard is here, culturally, people are more quiet. So I'm going to break that rule. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do something called Here I Am. Can anyone translate this in Korean for me? Someone tell me what Korean. I'm here. Huh? Say it again.
저는 여기에 있어요.
여기요. 여기요. Okay, that's shorter. Thank you. I'll come to you after this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a picture. If you find it true, I want you to say 여기요. Right? Okay, let's try once. I want everybody to say 여기요 once. 1, 2, 3. 여기요. Okay, great. This is awesome. Somebody raised their hand too. This is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to show the next picture. Oh, sorry. You can't just install Agile. It doesn't just happen. 여기요. All right. Let's try next one. I've got a bunch of them. Scrum is like your mother-in-law. It points out all your faults. 여기요. Okay, come on. You need to warm up, guys. Adopting Agile, everything will be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. 여기요. I don't always do Agile, but when I do it like waterfall. Oh, I will come to you. This is my class. I like this one. 여기요. We try to help. People don't want it. What can you do, right? Anyone running long stand-ups? They wish people can just shut up and finish and move on? Try this. Ask them to do plank. Customers, they want soap. We give them soap. We don't care what they want. 여기요. Is that 여기요? 여기요. Happens everywhere. Welcome to Agile. Stories are made up and points don't matter. 여기요. That happens to me all the time. Oh, this is from a coach perspective or from a manager perspective. Should I just tell them, go do it? Or you should coach them and wait for them to come back? Right? I think this is probably, I'm the only one going to say that. Come on. We'll ask for estimate and then treat them as deadlines and surprise them. 여기요. Oh, come on, guys. I thought this happened everywhere. 여기요. In my last organization, the director of PMO basically come and say, don't say the word Agile. They are allergic to it. They try so many different flavors, it's not working out, they're afraid. Use some other word. So we have the made-up words. I think this is the same as before. Right. We'll skip to the next one. It's a funnier one. 여기요. Good. Okay, great. So, Agile transformation, when we're trying to do things, we say, okay, we're going to do all these great things, and up, simple product. I know the word's a little slide. I face that a lot. When you do some transformation, and then they say, oh, can we transform without making any real changes? 여기요? 여기요? Okay. I promise you, this is the last one. This is my personal thing. Once in my life, I try to see if this is a conspiracy. Right? There's no Agile at all. It's just, Agile coaches made up all the sticky and the index cards. 여기요? All right. Okay, so today, when you walk out of today, there's a certain things I hope you have. Why? I'll tell you why, and I'll give you the tools about how. And when you leave, that's how you find out what you need to do, right? Why there's an urgency, and why we need to design. Why can't we just say, let's all do Scrum, right? Why do we design? Why do we have to think? How to design sustainable change and dissolve problem. Those are the key concepts. Most companies, those Agile, they're failing because of this. If you get this, your future of doing those is going to be a lot smoother. I do that all the time. Every Agile transformation, anything I do, any change in the organization, let's not talk about Agile. Right? You want to do something, you want to ask people to do something. It feels like you're hammering a screw. It just doesn't go in. It's not smooth. Right? On the other hand, when you're holding a hammer, everything is a nail to you. Like, yeah, let's do Scrum. Everything do Scrum. Right? There are other opportunities. There's other methods you can use. Right? This is one of the key. One of my role models told me this. You'll see his picture later. Problems. We build solution on top of problem, and that solution causes us more problem. And then we build more solution on top of the problem, on top of the problem, on top of the problem. What we have to do is make problem disappear. Then it's not your problem anymore, right? For example, resources. You run into skill bottlenecks with your DevOps guy, with your backend engineer, right? How do you address it? You can't. The only thing you can do is maybe do pair programming. You share the knowledge, find a way. So your problem with the skill bottleneck will just disappear, right? I've seen so many organizations, at the end, they are struggling to solve the problem they create themselves. They spend most of their time solving problem they create. And they are not moving forward. They are not growing. Oh, wrong direction. A lot of teams trying to do the right thing on the wrong thing. They never go back and then see if they do the right thing or not, right? It's better if you solve, it's do the right thing wrong than trying to fix the wrong thing, right? A lot of these are fundamental things as an organization is facing. And that's why in the future when you do Agile, you will run into these problems. I don't know if I should say this. I'm a professional because I make so much mistakes. I've made way more mistakes, failure, than successful. That is my value proposition. Today we're not going to talk about Scrum, XP. You can Google this. There's plenty of places you can find how to execute, right? We're not talking about scaling. We're not talking about this. I'm not trying to convince you Agile work or not, right? I believe Agile works really well. There's no other ways. You can try it and then come back 2 years and tell me that. But today we're talking about something more fundamental, right? We're talking about something more fundamental. One of the value proposition of me is I'm awesome at execution. If you have things you don't know how to execute, I know. I've been through it. I'm not a great inspirational speaker, give you a wow moment type of person, but I execute. I execute really well. And that's what I'm going to offer you today. Today is about changing the perception of a management into a designer. Roll up your sleeve. Get dirty. Let's design. I really love this particular image. Today we're talking about how to build this platform and a supporting hand. So when you go back and do whatever you need to do, you can do it and you will grow. We are creating the environment. It's so critical. You can ignore that part. I was late and I think of something really poetic, so I put those in. The more important part is it's really about my experience. I think that's something unique I can offer you is I started as an engineer. I coach engineering practices, TDD, BDD, whatever you can count up. And then I spent a lot of time trying to figure out flow, mechanics, Scrum, Kanban, continuous delivery. And then I spent a lot of time focused on how to really deliver the right thing to users. How do I know what we're building is really the user wants? In the start of my career, I code really well. Honestly, I know I'm an awesome engineer. I write beautiful code. I'm writing a lot of code. It's useless. I thought process can help, right? And what I found out is I'm writing more efficiently code that people don't want, right? And then what I found is really where I should end up is how do I build the right thing? There's a whole collaboration medium over here that teams are based on people, right? I think this fundamentally everyone needs to understand. This is different than a factory because we are people. We are different. When we write software, every piece of code is a creative process. We are drawing a different picture every single time. We are not stamping things out, right? One of the things people told me about TDD, which is awesome, is that I never realized is it gives you a platform where you can be creative and have a safety net. Oh. Hey, everyone should worry. If you're a manager, engineer, that's your bottom line. Your company goes south, you go south, right? This is a crisis. All this big company, they're closing down. Everyone is being disrupted. Doesn't matter how big your company is. Too much competition. That's our company. We're on the edge. We got to do something. A lot of people are doing it. That's why you see people going agile. If not, why? There's no point. Right? The reason of the urgency is there's a paradigm shift. I don't know if you guys realize it or not. But when you realize it and really understand what's different, you will appreciate Agile, Lean, all these methods a lot better. And you will actually understand why we do a certain thing a certain way and why we have to think that way and what's the benefit. Business is different, right? You guys are different. Nature of worker. You guys are knowledge worker, right? Customer speed of adaptation is different. Let's dive into a little more details. Let me ask, which one is our future? I think that's the easy answer. Which one? Tell me. That's one, that's two. Shout. Shout. Oh, yeah. It's obstacle course. You can't plan. You can't run as fast as you can. Right? It's obstacle course. What kind of people we need for obstacle course? Adaptation. It's the key to survive. Optimization? No. You're not surviving. Right? What can we do about it? As a manager or as an engineer? What can you do about it to prepare us for an obstacle course? Nature of worker. It used to be manual worker, and then there's this new term about knowledge worker, right? But we are not even knowledge worker today. All of you, it's a learning worker. I don't know if it's the official term. Somebody mentioned that. What it really means is there's not enough book I can give you. There's not enough knowledge I can give you for you to figure out what you need to do. You have to learn. You have to explore. You have to discover. You have to take risk. You have to fail for you to learn what you need. Right? And then millennial, I don't know if you guys know this term. Like me, people like spend a lot of time in the bathroom. That's a characteristic for millennial. Oh. Okay, Google that word. You'll be surprised. We'll be facing a lot of millennials. Diversity. It's a competitive advantage. Right? Most of my company face diversity in terms of people coming from different countries and things. But there's a whole part of diversity. It's about young people, old people, your idea, my idea, right? I've seen company teams, they fail because they only do things they are good at. And then they drive themselves to extinct because they didn't embrace the diversity. They are afraid to talk to each other because we have different ideas. Right? We need to address that. Teams. We used to be those teams. Nowadays, what we build is so complex. We need teams like this. We can help each other. If we don't do that, we can't survive. Right? Nothing can be done by one person. I used to believe in that, but I learned it from a hard lesson. Right? What can we do about it? Our customer, go to your competitor, faster we can change. So many different options. Right? They will just change. I'm not going to use your product anymore. right? I just use something else. And then your company extinct. What can you do about it, right? As a manager or as an engineer, right? We must go agile. We did and tried. These are all the problems we're facing. It's not staying. Our company don't have the right culture, right? There's no management buy-in. Structure is not right. Component teams. Not enough coach, too many coaches. Where's all this problem coming from? Remember earlier I talked about dissolving a problem? We as a system thinker, we need to think about how do we make this problem disappear? And not build ideas on top of these problems. Because this is a very risky foundation. Right? Have you thought of why management don't buy in? It's like my kid comes to me and say, okay, I'm going to study hard. I'm going to do everything great. What do you think? And our daddy say, no. We told our manager, oh, we want to go agile, we want to go lean because we can do faster, right? We want to write unit tests, spend some time. Why would I say no? It just doesn't make sense, right? All of these are the biggest hurdle in most companies I work with. Doesn't matter. Cisco, part of Samsung, Disney, all of them. They are not having problem with the engineers. They're having problem with these. What we missed, when the whole Agile movement comes in, we miss the whole management part. We focus on teams, we focus on technical excellence, we focus on DevOps, we focus on CI, we focus on CD. We really didn't handle the whole management part. If you look at Scrum, where are the managers? Most transformation, the biggest challenge I have to face is the manager thought they're going to get fired. The Scrum Master is replacing them. We totally missed that, right? The only thing left here, it's not enough, is going to training is not enough. Like today you guys come, it's great, it's awesome, but it's not enough. It's about what you're taking back and what you're going to do. That will make a difference. There's a lot of these team trainings, especially I think in the US it's very, very popular. Like you see photos of like whole team like holding these tree trunks and stuff like that. Build a team spirit. It's necessary. It's great. You have to have it. You have to have a sense of a team. But it's not enough. Something's missing. Having meetings, sitting around, right? I wish I don't have to go to half of my meetings. They're useless, right? But people still go. They waste time, no action coming out of it. It's not enough. It's not enough. An adaptive lean company is the company that will be flexible enough. Remember the obstacle course? These type of company are the ones who can navigate, adapt to changes, right? You as part of it, we need the management to do these 4 things. Imagine this. It doesn't matter if you're a manager or not, right? Think about it. If you're engineering, your manager sucks. What's your future look like, right? There's no future for you, right? I changed a lot of my job because my management really is not taking me the place I wanted to be. There are a lot of companies losing people because of that. Management needs to lead differently, think differently, provide different values, and continuously redesign the system. Here, instead of I say what the manager needs to do, I say management. In Agile, a lot of teams are self-managing, right? It's not just a role, a person. It's a function of organizing things. We need to lead differently. I never realized this. One day it hit me, somebody showed me this, it hit me on my head. I don't know if you guys can see it. These are different type: expert, achiever, catalyst. All of these here, you can Google it and find it. There's exercise you can do to help you to understand and be better. Most of my company, leaders, managers, team leads, tech leads, they are experts, achievers, especially experts. Experts are the ones, they go to where they are because they do great with what they do. I code so well, I become a manager. But I really don't know how to manage. I don't know how to treat a team. Achiever, I set goal, I challenge my team to the extent they're so tired they don't want to move anymore, right? For today, for companies, US manager, US engineering lead, to keep the talented people, you need people like catalyst type, co-creator, synergist. You guide changes. You don't tell people what to do. Because they are smarter than you. Why are you telling them what to do? Right? You focus on creativities. I wish there's a whiteboard I can draw, but there's this illustration, just imagine in your head. When two persons talk, if I find somebody to talk, our conversation should create a bigger conversation, right? But a lot of a conversation in the company, we settle down with the common denominator. We are less of both of us add up. I'll try to draw a picture later for you guys. But this is really about how the catalyst, co-creator, what they can bring. These people come to you, you feel better. You're twice, 3 times as good as you are, not half. And that is really what the multiplier and the diminishers are. This is something you should Google. It will change the way you look at things and talk to people. Right? So if you have a smartphone, take a picture. This will change your life. This will change your personal life. It will change your professional life. Have you ever talked to someone, after you talk to them, you feel great, you feel awesome? That's what the multiplier is. There's a lot of habit. I have a lot of this habit. I'm a diminisher in a certain extent. I make decisions for people. Right? In agile teams, that's not helping you. I believe every one of you here today is sooner or later in your future now, you are in an agile team. You want to do that, right? These kind of things will save you. Think differently. Mindset change. I wonder later on if I can share a book with you. There are certain things, it's not obvious. We are trained to be utilized, like for example, the second one, flow efficiency and resources efficiency, right? We are trained to make sure everybody code 100% of time. Your manager wants that, you think they expected you like that. But in software, it doesn't work that way. Imagine we are artists. Every single piece of code is different. We are not machines. Flow efficiency, what do you mean? You buy a combo, like you have a drink, a burger, and a fries, right? You buy a combo. Imagine you go to 4 different stores to buy it. You go to one place to buy a drink, one place to buy a burger, one place to buy fries, one place to get some napkins. That's not effective. But that's very efficient for the people who's making drink. They're making drink 100% of the time. Right? It's not obvious. But if you're a manager, you think that way, or if you're an engineering lead, you think that way, you're limited the growth of your team or your company. They're not going anywhere. Right? Growth, maintenance, we talk about it, right? Inside out adaptation. This is something really interesting. 2 weeks ago, I talked to a friend. He runs Management 3.0. Like he trained these management, 3.0 lean enterprise type of a training. So we were chatting, and then he told me, he said, look, this is really weird. This is really strange. The people who's coming, are not managers anymore. And I was scratching my head. It's a management class. Why no manager comes? He said, I don't know. It's all either coach or consultant coming in. And I was like, wow, that's weird. Managers don't think management is their part of their job anymore. It's external, right? I'm Agile coach. I have a problem with process? Let's go hire Agile coach. You have a problem with design? Let's go hire a consultant. If the problem do this, let's hire someone. They have a different perception, right? We bring change from outside in. Transformation. Millions and millions of dollars of transformation. Been through. 6,000 engineers worldwide. Transformation. Fail. Because they didn't address, this is a people business. Everybody here, in your heart, you need to feel you are getting value from your Agile implementation. If it's just some manager wants or somebody wants, it's useless. It's not going to stay. I need to feel transformed. In a way, I'm happier, right? I can write my code. I have time to take risk. I have time to fail. It's critical. Of course, system thinking, lean thinking, you can Google this out. But the way we think gotta be different. Value proposition. What do we do as managers or management? Sooner or later you guys will be. I'm gonna tell them what to do. I'm gonna measure them. I'm gonna say good job. You know. No, that's not what we do anymore. That's 10 years ago. Don't do that anymore. It's not going to work. Why it's not going to work? Your worker is going to be different. The way they think is going to be different. They know more than you do. Why are you telling them what to do? On this side, these are the things that's valuable. You need to coach instead of telling people. Every single one of these, there are specific things in the industry you can do. You can learn. But we, as a management, we are lacking. We are not catching up, right? All of this you apply to your personal life also, right? A lot of these, like for example, modeler for lean agile principles, growth mindsets. Managers don't care. From in my experience in the past, right? They say do agile, but they are not. They say let's understand the customer. They didn't. Right? As a management, you need to show people you are doing it, you are finding valuable, so people can follow you. It's very important. Continuously redesign the system. Why design matters. I think no one's going to argue with me with this one because one is Einstein, one is the Einstein in problem solving. That's how they label Russell Ackoff. Google this too. Google this guy. My personal hero. But I love the way what Einstein, I talk like he's my friend. I like the way he sings. Basically he's saying like, the mindset that we create the problem, if we want to address the problem, we can't think that way. Right? The problem are created by the way we think, so we need to change the way we think to solve the problem. The same principle we use in our product. Right? You go to the user. Why? You want to be inspired. Right? How you use it is not how the user uses it. You want to put in a context, in that context. Same here. Why your manager don't understand you? Why they're thinking, well, you guys, you're not coding fast enough, you're not thinking out of the box. They are not putting themselves in your shoes, understand what you need, and redesign the organization based on that. That's really the key in problem solving. Imagine you have a car, you change the engine to a Ferrari engine. What's going to happen to your car? Is it going to go faster? It probably blows up, right? Think about our organization. We put Agile Scrum team, right? They are doing great. but everything around it didn't change. Not going to work. Right? So, this whole thing is about how do we step back. We can take a shortcut, say, let's do Scrum, right? I've seen so many times when a team, I have a great high-performing team doing awesome, but they fail because they didn't address the things around it. The manager said, you still have to give me a certain report. Not going to work. We don't do report, right? I need a certain documentation. No, we don't write those documentation. Our documentation is in the code. We have better code you can read. Why do I have to, translate that into English for one person and get outdated all the time? So, how do we design a design thinking session? Oh, by the way, how much time do I have? Okay. Who knows what design thinking is? Okay, let's do this. Design and design thinking. What's the difference? Or who knows what design thinking is? Anyone? Yes, empathy? Yep, that's one of it. It's critical. That's the first one. Who else? Let me fill in the blank. Design is a way of looking at things, thinking about certain things. It's like Agile, it's a way of doing things a certain way. Scrum is implementation. Design thinking, it's a step, it's 4 or 5 steps to walk you through, and you guarantee a better result by walking you through those steps. Empathy is one, right? First step. If you feel my pain, you will design, you will think from my perspective, right? So, how do we do a design session, right? Brainstorm. Anyone still do brainstorming here? Okay, if you do brainstorming, I'll show you something later. Look up something called game storming. Brainstorming is outdated. Sorry to say that. That's a much better way of doing things, coming up with ideas, right? So, I hijacked a design sprint. This is a product-specific thing. Google uses it. If you Google stuff, you will find a page that will show you exactly what this is. Its strength is go from idea to learning. This is different than Lean Startup. Without building, without launching. Let's learn first. The same thing for product, apply for our organizational change. These are the 4 days. I just finished running these, last week. These are for product, but we can use it for organizational design. Areas that you can design, obstacle removal. The problems never seem to go away. Or maybe let's look at something slightly simpler. This is the annual Agile report. People go Agile because of this, right? They want to increase productivity. A lot of people take the shortcut. Let's do Scrum. And it didn't work. It didn't survive. If we take that goal, increase productivity, put it in the design sprint, I guarantee you will come up with much better solution and that will sustain. This is a sample design session plan. My is 4 days. Actually, I asked to talk to you guys for 4 days. They say I only have 45 minutes. But things like this, you can shrink into 1 day. But if you look at the step, those are the important things. You need to get the background, get inspired, know your user, define the problem, imagine the future, redefine the problem, build ideas, build prototype, take it to your user. It applies to product, it applies to you. In fact, if you look at all the little things here, these are activity geared towards organizational design. You can swap this out for product design. Right? These are the things it's critical. Success factors. For us to have an organization that will grow, Empathy. You're right. You need to care about your team. You need to focus on people. They are not resources. Right? Second one is key. Co-creation. Sit with your team members, figuring out what is the right process. Can we do Agile Lean better, right? Do more facilitation and coaching instead of telling you, hey, do this, do this, do this. Right? Not going to work. Design tools and vocabularies. I've been dying to try to do a management hackathon. Get all the management. Let's do a hack week, just like engineering do. How do we improve the organization? The second line, guys, you gotta Google that. Game storming, innovation game. What I do every day, replace brainstorming. Yeah, Google that. You won't regret. These give you a different way of getting to user insight, to actually understand what is the trigger of a motivation. Why is the engineering upset? Why is the engineer upset? Why is your product owner upset? There's a whole list of these things. These are product techniques. We can use it to build a better, healthier organization, a better environment where everyone strikes. I don't have to go to my manager trying to convince him doing something great. Right? Why would you have to do that? We can use the same technique. So what I'm asking to do is to start an organization design movement. Go back as an exercise. How do you design your team? Don't just listen to anyone. Just sit down with yourself. How do I design a team that won't have the problem that I have? And then follow the step I have. You'll be amazed all the new ideas you can come up with. And don't just do it by yourself. Bring your team member, bring your manager, bring all sorts of people. This is not just a management thing, right? Bring them in. And how can we today build a better organization that is adaptive and flexible enough, and people inside, they are happy. Sorry, that's a missing video. That's actually a great video. If you go to YouTube and Google it, if you type how to start a movement, you see this crazy guy, 3 minutes only video. You see this crazy guy dancing, and all of a sudden people start to join them. It's kind of miracle. Like, if I see that guy, I'll walk away from him. But it's weird. People start joining him, and end up like it's more than 100 people dancing like him, like go crazy. And that's what I want to ask you to do. Remember the what part? When you go out, go back, be that guy. Just do it. Don't think about it. We wouldn't know if it's going to work until we do it. Take risk, right? Break some rules. That's what you need to do. Be loud. Tell people how you feel. Right? It's critical. So I think that's the last one. Thank you, guys. You have a Q&A after this? Okay, here. Oh, that's mine. Remember to Google those things.
I suppose because of your job, by nature, once you arrive at any place, then I suppose you will find what to change. So what is your first action of observation whenever you go? Wherever you go?
To regarding changes, I think the key is the urgency. If you don't feel the urgency, it won't change. And without telling people what the urgency is, they won't understand. They will never change. Like, why would I change if that's not urgent? Right? It's natural. The second thing is about how to. you need to show them how to do a certain things so they can get benefit from it, and then they will change more. It's a chicken first, egg first thing. If you don't see value, why would you invest more time, right? There's a whole change management, 7-8 steps of things. Every single person as a management, as a coach, or as a team lead, need to understand that. They will help you to solve a lot of problems. When you have something you wanted to do, it will be a lot easier. Yeah, you won't be hitting the screw anymore. Thank you guys.
네, 없으시면 저기 이것으로 마치고요. 다음 세션은 35분부터 시작할 텐데 하나 부탁드리고 싶은 게 있으면 피드백을 주시는 분들이 이렇게 많지 않으세요. 아까 말씀드렸지만 양쪽에 있는 그 QR코드나 아니면 링크 이용해서 세션에 대한 피드백 주시면 감사드리겠습니다. 네, 다시 한번 저기 라운드에 큰 박수 주시고요. 이것도 마치겠습니다.
Thank you guys.